जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजन यामुनतिरावनचारी यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजन यामुनतिरावनचारी Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. We are reading from Canto 4, Chapter 29, Talks between Narada and King Prachina Barihi, Shloka number 71. Supti Murchopatapeshu Pranayana Vigatataha Nehate Ham Iti Jnanam Mrityu Prajvarayorapi Supti Murchopatapeshu Pranayana Vigatataha Nehate Ham Iti Jnanam Mrityu Prajvarayorapi Supti Murchopatapeshu Pranayana Vigatataha Nehate Ham Iti Jnanam Mrityu Prajvarayorapi. Supti Murchopatapeshu Pranayana Vigatataha Nehate Ham Iti Jnanam Mrityu Prajvarayorapi. Supti Murchopatapeshu Pranayana Vigatataha Nehate Ham Iti Jnanam Mrityu Prajvarayorapi. Okay, today we will quickly start word to word meaning. Supti, in deep sleep. Murcha, fainting. Upatapeshu, or in a great shock. Prana ayana, of the movement of the life air. Vigatataha, from prevention. Na, not. Ihate, thinks of. Aham, I. Iti, thus. Jnanam, knowledge. Mrityu, while dying. Prajvarayoho, or during high fever. Api, also. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. When the living entity is in deep sleep, when he faints, when there is some great shock on account of severe loss, at the time of death, or when the body temperature is very high, the movement of the life air is arrested. At that time, the living entity loses knowledge of identifying the body with the self. Purport: foolish people deny the existence of the soul, but it is a fact that when we sleep, we forget the identity of the material body, and when we awake, we forget the identity of the subtle body. In other words, while sleeping, we forget the activities of the gross body, and when active in the gross body, we forget the activities of sleeping. Actually, both states, sleeping and waking, are creations of the illusory energy. The living entity actually has no connection with either the activities of sleep or the activities of the so-called vacant state. When a person is in deep sleep or when he has fainted, he forgets his gross body. Similarly, under chloroform or some other anesthetic, the living entity forgets his gross body and does not feel pain or pleasure during a surgical operation. Similarly, when a man is suddenly shocked by some great loss, he forgets his identification with the gross body. At the time of death, when the temperature of the body rises to 107 degrees, the living entity falls into a coma and is unable to identify his gross body. In such cases, the life air that moves within the body is choked up. and the living entity forgets its identification with the gross body. Because of our ignorance of the spiritual body, of which we have no experience, we do not know of the activities of the spiritual body. And in ignorance, we jump from one false platform to another. We act sometimes in relation to the gross body and sometimes in relation to the subtle body. If by Krishna's grace we act in our spiritual body, we can transcend both the gross and subtle bodies. In other words, we can gradually train ourselves to act in terms of spiritual body. As stated in Narada Pancharatra, Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. Devotional service means engaging the spiritual body and spiritual senses in the service of the Lord. When we are engaged in such activities, the actions and reactions of gross and subtle bodies cease. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasa Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So it's a very nice concept that is mentioned here. So during deep kind of shock or in great loss or at the time of death, and when the bodily temperature is very high, in such kind of situations, what happens is the life air becomes choked up. And then so once the life air is choked up, so then the identity identity with the body becomes disturbed. So even in villages also we hear this thing. If somebody has become mad, they'll say like some air has got disturbed in the body. क्या बोलते हैं उसको? वात रोग बोलते हैं. Yes, sir. So if they become mad, means like the air has got disturbed in the body. So that is this one. So madness means what? They will not be able to identify properly with whatever they are supposed to identify themselves with. So here we see that the identity of the material body, it's like the last line when we read of the translation, it may appear like it's a good blessings. At the time the living entity loses knowledge of identifying the body with the self. So but the problem is still the subtle body identification or still he is not able to identify himself as spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna. He is not able to identify himself with this body. That is not a big deal actually. So later on Prabhupada says like because we are not able to identify ourselves as the spiritual body, we jump from one false platform to another false platform. So anyway, like there I have something in stock to say. So we'll see the purport gradually. The foolish people deny the existence of the soul, but it is a fact that we sleep and we forget our identity of the material body, and then we awake, we forget the identity of the subtle body. So that means while sleeping, we are indulging with the subtle body. The mind is taking us through so much of trip, that is it takes us through. And we experience so many different things over there, and then we literally lose sight of where we are now, or what is our day-to-day routine in the physical world. So we forget about all that and we start living another life there. And then when we come back, we faintly remember our dream. and we don't start bothering about that life we left. We lived in the dream. No, we completely live a different life altogether here. So this switching between the gross body and subtle body is always there. So identity kiska hai? No, so I'm not able to identify all the time with my gross body, and I'm not able to identify all the time with my subtle body, or the life created in the subtle body. So essentially speaking, we don't have any relationship between these both the activities. The activities performed in the gross body, activities performed in the subtle body. So we don't have connection to both of these things. So this philosophy, when it comes, so then sometimes the wrong application of this philosophy is, anyway, like it doesn't matter what I do in this gross body, it is in the ultimate sense it doesn't matter. So might as well I'll take some meat, I'll do other activities also. Anyway, it doesn't matter, So what I do with the gross body, So, but the thing is, it is not our reality, but we are put into this illusion, and how to deal with this illusion is mentioned in the scriptures. To come out of this illusion, we have to deal with this illusion. Just like, if a thorn is pricked onto our body, we don't want the thorn. So how to take the thorn out? We have to use the thorn to take the thorn out. So in the same way, like we don't want this illusion, we don't have anything to do with this illusion, but we are in this illusion, so we have to work our way out of this illusion, right? So for that, there is a specific way of using the sense objects is there, and we have to use them in that way. So now here, one important thing to understand is, where this application comes is that I don't belong here, and I have to get out of this whole material consciousness and material this one. So that much of application is there, and keeping this as the whole and soul. So that is to be avoided. Keeping this material life as whole and soul, that is to be avoided. So that is also one positive application from this. I don't have anything to do with the activities of material body and subtle body. So these are the applications of this understanding. It is not that because I don't have anything to do with these activities, to kuch bhi kar le. No. So that is not the application of this particular knowledge. Okay, so when a person is in deep sleep, or when he is fainted, or he forgets his gross body, so he forgets his gross body, and then similarly, like when chloroform is given, so he forgets his gross body. Any operation done, like he doesn't feel the pain, and then great shock that comes because of a great loss, and then when the body temperature rises to 107 degrees, prajwara, at the time of death. So all these things chokes up the life air. Once the life air is choked up, the identity with the gross body is forcibly cut, at that point in time. So he doesn't, he'll not be able to identify himself, which are all things: fainting, and then great loss, deep pain because of great loss, and then this chloroform or some things like that, and then the high fever just before death. So all these things actually chokes up the life air. So, okay, in such cases, the life air that moves within the body is choked up, and the living entity forgets its identification with the gross body. Because of our ignorance of the spiritual body, of which we have no experience, we do not know of the activities of the spiritual body. And in ignorance, we jump from one false platform to another. So here, there is a lot of argument that is happening that people are suffering so grossly. At least spiritual activities, as it is mentioned here, we don't have any experience at all of our spiritual body. So we don't have much of experience of spiritual activities. And Bhakti mein aisa bol rahe ki first you do your activities, you will not be able to see any result, but still you are progressing. आप लोग ऐसा एग्जाम्पल देते हैं कि शादी होने के बाद 10 महीने वेट करना पड़ता है बच्चा होने के लिए, है ना. भक्ति में आने के बाद तुरंत रिजल्ट एक्सपेक्ट मत करो, थोड़ा दिन रहो उसके बाद में आएगा. तो अभी लोग परेशान है, लोग कॉमन पीपल आर इतना ज़्यादा परेशान है, उसको थोड़ा मोटिवेशनल टॉक देना चाहिए, है ना. तो ये क्या है, वन फॉल्स प्लेटफॉर्म टू अनदर फॉल्स प्लेटफॉर्म, एंड वो मोटिवेशनल टॉक देंगे, उसमें सेटिस्फाई हो गया, देन ही गोस ऑन दैट ट्रैक ओनली, then it becomes a problem actually. So whether they have it is, see, for common things we are experiencing, like if you have a disease, you go to the doctor and you take the medicine and full course, like no, you wait for the disease to get cured. So immediate reliefs also are there. There are so many immediate reliefs are there. So you just there also you can give some painkillers and this one and things like that, and think that you don't have any pain and stuffs like that. So but actually your disease will be more aggravating. So actual medicine lena chahiye. Actual medicine lena chahiye, and then that will cure the person, rather than shifting from one false platform to another false platform. So that is not going to help the living entity at all. And even if we give some kind of an emotional counsel or any other counsel without administrating medicine, imagine like you are not given proper medicine for your disease, only painkiller is given. Then what is the use? So there is like different propositions are there. You have a disease and because of which you are experiencing pain. So only painkiller is given and only medicine is given, and both medicine and painkiller is given. So which is the worst? Only painkiller is given is worst. तो बेस्ट लोग बोलते हैं कि लाइक पेन किलर एंड मेडिसिन, तो मैं बोलता हूँ बेस्ट लाइक काली मेडिसिन दिया तो भी ठीक है, बिकॉज ही इज हैविंग पेन सो यू विल नॉट स्टॉप द मेडिसिन. मेरे जैसे लोग स्टॉप कर देते हैं मेडिसिन. पेन तो नहीं लग रहा तो अभी स्टॉप कर देंगे. सो लाइक मूर्ख लोगों के लिए पेन चाहिए मेडिसिन लेने के. सो एंड ओके फाइन, तो मेडिसिन दे दिया, लाइक बहुत ज़्यादा पेन है तो थोड़ा सा लाइक मोटिवेशन दे दो, कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. बट मेडिसिन, बिना मेडिसिन का, विदाउट मेडिसिन यू जस्ट सिंपली गिव पेन किलर, इट इज लाइक प्रॉब्लम. So without Krishna consciousness, you just simply give motivational talk. It is like simply useless thing. And it is seen, I have seen personally, like all my friends who have been doing motivational talk, they themselves lost motivation in their life. So that is the that is the result of motivational talk. The real motivation comes from Krishna. Krishna के बिना क्या motivation है actually? So the real thing, why motivation goes off? Because in motivational talk, the whole thing is about, we don't touch about Krishna, we don't talk about Krishna. Actually, Krishna is untouchable subject matter. No, we should not talk about Krishna. And then literally like, they feel like that. No, we should not talk about Krishna at this point in time, right? And then you try to like make a person peaceful on some material plane, somewhere in some material plane, make a person peaceful. But all material things are to be destroyed. And like जो motivational talker है, like speaker है, उसका ही motivation ये हो जाता है क्योंकि he also takes shelter of some material plane, and that material plane will be pulled out, just like a person's rug is pulled under the feet, तो गिर जाएगा. So like that. So any shelter except for taking shelter of the Supreme Lord is going to be like a very, very useless thing. So in fact, the scriptures goes on to say that, see, karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, all these things are also yoga processes which can deliver a living entity, till the point of liberation, till the point of taking a person to Brahma Jyoti. And the comparison that is given is that all these yoga systems are definitely, they are capable of taking a living entity off the material ocean. So we are like we are fallen into the material ocean, and like iska comparison diya jata hai ki definitely a dog can swim, but dog cannot cross an ocean, and definitely you cannot कुत्ते को पूंछ पकड़ के like समुद्र नहीं पार कर सकते. That is not possible. ऐसे ही like other yoga systems what is there apart from bhakti, उसको सहारा लेके like हम लोग भवसागर पार नहीं कर सकते. It's like it's not possible to do that thing. So it is so very difficult to cross this ocean of material existence. Only a solid boat, samashita ye padapallava plavam mahat padam punya yasho murare. So like a solid boat, which is the lotus feet of the Lord, that only can cross a living entity from the material, from the material ocean. So no other things. If this is the son of like all the yoga systems, what to speak about a motivational talk which is outside the yoga system? Actually, literally speaking, it is it is a adharma only. It doesn't have any yoga system in it. It doesn't have any scriptural this one in it. So it is literally adharma only, actually. So we act sometimes in relation to gross body and sometimes in relation to subtle body. If by Krishna's grace we act in our spiritual body, we can transcend both gross and subtle bodies. In other words, we can gradually train ourselves to act in terms of spiritual body. Okay, so here, all our karma, all our disturbance, and all the activation of gross and subtle body, how it happens? It requires something very, very essential. How to activate our subtle body and gross body to act in material platform? What makes us act in material platform? तो उसके लिए कुछ एनर्जी चाहिए, कुछ पावर चाहिए. वो पावर किधर से आता है? हाँ, no. That's okay. Like the how does the material activity is kept alive?
Food energy comes.
Spiritual के लिए भी एनर्जी मिलता है. So it is like no. It is like when you perform an act which is not devotional service. No, when we perform an act which is not devotional service, be it karma yoga, be it adharma, anything, that actually gives the power. No, for like that actually keeps the material body and subtle body alive. No, so that is the point of connection for karma to act. So if I render service to Krishna, then immediately I get depulged, I get unplugged from the material nature, right? So if the moment I perform a material activity which is not service to Krishna, immediately I get plugged into the material modes of nature. Immediately all the sufferings of this world will affect me. No, everything, like the whole material world to act upon me, I need to do one thing, that is, I need to do an act which is not service of Krishna. Then I get connected to the material world, then modes of nature can act upon me, then the karma can act upon me, everything can act upon me. But when I perform a service to Krishna, sincerely in the mood of service to Krishna, then immediately I get unplugged from material nature. So whatever may happen in this world, it doesn't affect. Because unplug ho gaya adhar. No, it is very important. Like we get bound in this material world. Like वो mana शिक्षा में रघुनाथ दास गोस्वामी अच्छे से बताते हैं. We get bound in this material world by the fruitive activity. The moment you stop fruitive activity, you just cut your relationship with the material world. No, so that's the power of this particular act. And here you see what is bhakti? Rishikena Rishikesa Sevanam. Use your senses in the service of the Lord. Immediately you get unplugged from the material nature. No, modes of nature cannot affect you. So immediately you take the shelter of Krishna, and then modes of nature cannot affect you. So this is the necessity, this is the need that is there. Like when you perform a fruitive activity, you get plugged onto the material world, and you perform a service, you get unplugged from material world, right? So it's a very important concept. So we have to train ourselves to act on the spiritual body. So right now the spiritual body of the living entity is there. No, it is there, but it is there in the dormant state of existence. No, it is not active. So when we perform a service to Krishna, then the spiritual body becomes revived. No, and more we perform service to Krishna, it is mentioned like, I don't know, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, or it's like it nourishes the spiritual blood or something like that, he says. No? Every book or every chastisement that you get during book distribution, every time you are mistreated during book distribution, your spiritual blood increases. Every time you perform a devotional service, your spiritual blood and your spiritual muscles built, like pura exercise ho raha hai, So, and spiritual body becomes revived. And once the spiritual body becomes revived, then you can be like fully strong. ऐसे strong खड़ा हो सकता है. So right now we have to take shelter of the rules and regulations of devotional service, and then we should perform devotional service according to the rules and regulations. And by doing that, we will revive our spiritual body. And once the spiritual body is properly revived, so then we don't need the support of material body. We can उसका बिना खड़ा हो सकता है. So like we have to. This means devotional service means engaging spiritual body and spiritual senses in the service of the Lord. When we engage in such activities, actions and reactions of the gross and subtle body cease. So like when we act in this, Krishna conscious activities service, immediately actions and reactions of the subtle and gross body cease. We get unplugged from the material world. Okay. So I just pause here. Any questions or comments and discussions you can take up? Yes.
Medicine without painkiller kind of thing, because lot of internal struggles and everything will be for a struggling sadhaka who is going towards Krishna. These are like obstacles and troubling him a lot, like paining him internally. fighting him.
So there is one nice painkiller is there, the Vedic painkiller. So Vedic painkiller is act according to our nature. Be engaged according to our nature. So if you're a Kshatriya, you can manage a center. No, आपको भी एक भक्ति center खोल के दे सकते हैं. If you're a Vaishya, you can do some business. No, agriculture, cow protection. So if you're like whatever is your nature, accordingly, like no, you have to be engaged.
Our superiors will identify.
And you can also identify, and superiors also will do. So all these things, like based on that, no, you will get, no, if you are engaged properly, then that will give a nice pain. That is a painkiller that, in fact, it is mentioned, we quote in our Gita course also, one of the Yoga Sutras, which Kapila Dev actually mentions in the Sankhya Yoga, in the third canto of Bhagavatam. So he says that Swadharmacharanam Shaktya Vidharmacha Nivartanam Daiva Labdena Santosha Atma Vicharanachanam. So at which point, he actually mentions this sloka, is that you have to perform yoga, you have to meditate on the Supreme Lord with undeviated attention, and to do that, your mind and body has to be peaceful. And how to make your mind and body peaceful? So, Swadharmacharanam Shaktya. So, you have to work according to your nature, and how much you have to work? Jitna takat hai, utna kaam karna chahiye. No? Swadharmacharanam, like, you have to work according to your nature, and you have to work to your maximum capacity, and Vidharmacha Nivartanam. Don't think that, oh, this person is doing this, no, I should copy him, that person is doing that, I should copy him. No. What is my nature, I will work. No, according to that. I am not going to compare with anybody. No, I don't have anything to prove in this world. My only business is I have to advance in Krishna consciousness, and while advancing, no, I should not be disturbed by my mind and body. And for that, I have to act according to my nature. I have to act according to my nature, and I have to use all my capacity in engaging in the service of the Lord. Any energy that is not utilized properly, to work according to my nature or to work in engagement of the service of the Lord, that energy will booth jaisa hai, फिर वापस attack करता है. No, it is very, very important. All our energy must be utilized properly in the service of the Lord. Otherwise, वो फिर वापस attack करता है. And Vidharmacha Nivartanam. The main problem is that इनको ऐसा जॉब मिला, मुझे भी ऐसा जॉब मिलना चाहिए. No, इसके लिए थोड़ा फेक एक्सपीरियंस डालेंगे, वो करेंगे, उसको इसमें घुसेंगे. No, why? Because everybody is doing that. No, I should also do that. So this is all it's a wrong this one. No, my nature is certain something, and I will just do what is my nature. No, and that is how the painkiller that is there, for legal painkiller that is there. No, so like that.
While chanting, Prabhuji, we observe that if the pain is there, then only you told that you will take medicine. Otherwise, if the pain is gone, then you will forget the medicine also. So while chanting, if we get some kind of sense gratificatory thoughts or something, then we feel we should reject them, and we should oppose them, and we should more take shelter of Krishna. That time intense chanting will happen, and whenever some
वो वाला क्या है कबीर का दोहा या कुछ तो प्रभुपाद भी कोट करते हैं एक परपोर्ट में, सुख में स्मरण दुख में स्मरण, something. What is that? The Lord gives misery only for the purpose of you remembering the Lord. That is the purpose of existence of misery, and Lord likes it.
that kind of pain is also very. When we get
it's good. Morning we were discussing Haridas Thakur when he's picked up by the Muslim magistrate. And when he's going, he's seeing all the people all the Vaishnavas are arrested in the jail, and they're intensely calling out, "Hey Krishna, please bacha de hame," like that. And Haridas Thakur sees, "Arey, itna acha situation mein hai, itna acha," dil se Bhagwan ka pukar rahe hain, aise hi raho, aise raho. And वो लोग सब, अरे ठाकुर जी अभी क्या बोल रहे हैं, आप तो इतना शुद्ध भक्त है, आप ऐसे नहीं बोलना चाहिए, हम लोग जेल में है, आप बोल रहे हैं ऐसे रहो. So वो बोलते वो नहीं बोला मैंने, इतना अच्छा फीलिंग से आप भगवान को पुकार रहे हैं, ऐसे रहो. So devotees see something else only. Those people are seeing we are in jail, we have to get out. And devotees is he's intensely calling the Lord, क्यों disturb कर ऐसे रहने दो.
Such kind of pain, getting the sensitive thoughts and getting heavy chastisement from superiors. When we get very bad, but that time calling the Lord, and it happens very
nicely,
naturally.
I'll make sure you'll get chastisement from your superiors. ठीक है प्रंजब, ठीक है ऐसे बताइए.
When you told that when we deflect from the fruitive activities, then actually we are like all the karmas and all the more the material nature will not have to come. So this question came into my mind, but somehow I was contemplating. So I think I got answer, but I didn't know what to confirm. So when the person is in mode of goodness, so naturally he is detached from the fruits of the activities which he does, the results usually. He's not bothered about the results. That's why he's in mode of goodness. So what? So still he is bound in this modes of material nature, in the material world. So I just want to confirm that it is that only because of the sense of happiness which he gets after detaching from the results of the activities. Is that so? That's why he is bound.
So he's still deriving something from this material nature. See, there is so many different fruits are there. Now, fruits at the gross level, fruits at the level of mind, fruits at the level of intelligence, fruits at the level of ego. No, so mode of goodness, like they will get detached from the gross fruits of this world. No, but still they're enjoying the subtle fruits of this world. Right? So still they're enjoying the modes of nature. It is just a different way of enjoyment, which is more, it appears more sophisticated and very nice and things like that. But still it is bondage actually. No? So like even to get out of mode of goodness, then you can manage to reach the platform of Brahman. No? And there still the service to the Supreme Lord is not awakened. So like, the modes of nature is still, we are enjoying within the modes of nature, and the pinnacle of that is like mode of goodness, where it is like very, very polished and very dharmic and things like that. So then beyond that is liberation, and beyond that is the service to Krishna. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, we have 5 more minutes to go. So 9:15 we want to stop. So anybody has anything to share or yes?
So when we are trying to serve or like when we are trying to be selfless, and the difference between like how to like what is intellectual adjustment, like just by merely doing intellectual adjustment we cannot we cannot it won't be proper enough. Like we cannot do intellectual adjustment. The difference between intellectual adjustment and not giving up for the mind or to wander. The difference I need to understand. The mood of service and the intellectual adjustment.
What intellectual adjustment?
Like let's say I want to serve the Lord, but my mood should be proper. So, but just by doing intellectual adjustment, my mood cannot be set properly.
So like see, natural thing is to be in the mood of servant. So in the conditional state, no, we are not in the mood of servant. We want to enjoy this material world. So we are not in the mood of servant. No, but we understand that we have to get there. But our state is that, no, we are still hooked on to the material enjoyment. So then what does the Acharyas say? No, Acharyas say like you engage your senses. At the level of senses, you get engaged first. So engage your senses in the service of the Lord as directed by the Acharyas, as directed by Krishna. So then over a period of time, senses become purified, then mind becomes purified, then slowly the purification actually happens. So it is not an intellectual adjustment, it is following the words of the Acharyas. So now, okay, what does the Acharya say? Like engage the senses in the service of the Lord. तो मैं कुछ plan बनाऊंगा इसके पीछे. Like ऐसा नहीं है. So we have to exactly follow the Acharyas. Then the effect will be there. No, it is not some like ऐसा ही भगवान का like just the Lord is a purifying agent and I'll just engage my senses in the service of the Lord. Like no, like engage my senses in matters related to the Lord. I'll become purified. No, we have to anusevanam. We have to follow in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. We have to exactly do what they have mentioned us. So then it becomes a service. Then it becomes purifying. And one thing is like the Lord cannot be forced into anything. No, that is a very important principle to understand. The Lord cannot be forced into anything, and we have to like take it. So if you're not able to completely be aligned in terms of in the mood and everything, in the mood of service, at least in the level of following the instruction, saying like, okay, Prabhupada has told like you eat prasadam. Prabhupada has told like you stay with devotees. Prabhupada has told you do morning program. I'll do all these things. So when I do these things, then gradually the purification actually happens. So internalization, gradually it starts. It starts with external, it goes internal. वो वाला example क्या है? Like that devotee who didn't want to offer obeisances to Prabhupada. Everybody offering. किसका?
Crazy people.
नहीं. So some Prabhuji, like everybody are offering obeisances and he didn't want to offer obeisances. And Prabhupada asked, why are you not offering obeisances? He was telling like, no, I'm not feeling like offering obeisances. Then he told like, first you start offering, then feeling will come. You know? So then this means what? Initially we are not looking for mood. No, mood and things like that, bhava stage comes much later. Initially we are looking for the principles, vidhi purvak. No, we by rule, no, we just follow. And that rule, because it is given by the authorities, so it will work over a period of time.
Suppose you are engaging your mind in the service of the Lord. I want to engage my mind in the service of the Lord. Like just by intellectual adjustment or like I cannot force the Lord to or I cannot just surrender like that. But I will be trying to surrender. But
See, our practical aspect of surrender for us is to just follow. No, if our senses are not under control, then like senses and mind are not under control. We just simply follow this one given by the acharyas. We don't put any like our own intellectual adjustments and things like that into it. Just follow the instructions. Like over a period of time, it becomes better and better. Okay. Okay. So we will stop here. Yes, ma'am.
So if we want to evaluate if we are progressing in spiritual life or how much we have progressed, so if we want to evaluate, how can we?
चैंटिंग में कितना मन लग रहा है? नो मतलब क्यों डिफिकल्ट है वाले? नो उसमें कुछ रिजल्ट नहीं दिख रहा है तो नहीं दिख रहा, खत्म. नो समटाइम्स ऐसा होता है कि लाइक बच्चे फेल हो गया, फेल होने के बाद शायद से लाइक रिवैल्यूएशन डालना चाहिए कुछ और. इसमें रिवैल्यूएशन डालने की जरूरत नहीं, रिजल्ट पक्का आता है. मार्क्स मैटर्स तो लाइक नहीं है तो नहीं है, लाइक अभी काम करना पड़ेगा उसको, है ना, उसके लिए काम तो करना पड़ेगा. रिजल्ट नहीं आ रहा मतलब नहीं है, मार्क नहीं है, पढ़ाई नहीं किया. So that is where otherwise we'll be in illusion कि like what I'm doing is I'm doing right only. Maybe like chanting may not reflect all the time rightly. No, I'm doing right only. So ऐसा करके सोचेंगे then like we'll never be able to come to the right point. So like when my chanting is not going good, I can take that as a sign that something is going wrong. Then I can find out and work on and pray to the Lord and all these things can happen. But जो result आसानी से जो result दिखाई पड़ रहा है, another result Prabhupada says is that lust will reduce. Attraction to the opposite sex reduces. So, but that is also little far off this one. So this is like, I find it like, result in chanting, like Prabhupada in many places he says that when this one reduces, when the, the material infection reduces, naturally the attraction towards the Lord actually increases. Attraction to the Lord increases and the attraction to the material nature decreases. So this is this one. And another, this one we see that bhakti, paresha anubhava, virakti, anyatar saisha tirka eka kala. So bhakti, means like devotion to the Lord increases, paresha anubhava, direct experience of the Lord increases, and virakti, or attachment to the material nature decreases. So these are the three things, that are looked upon. And, progressively this will, grow, all these three things. Hare Krishna. ठीक होता है.
जैसे हम प्रभु जी मतलब सोते हुए हम लोग सेटल में चले जाते हैं और जब जागते हैं तो हम ग्रॉस बना देते हैं, तो उस बीच में अगर हम जैसे माइंड जब स्वप्न मतलब ड्रीम देख रहा होता है तो उस टाइम तो हमें लगता है ये माइंड है, जिस टाइम नहीं देख रहा हो तो उस टाइम हम कहाँ होते हैं?
इधर ये ड्रीम में होता है, डे ड्रीम या नाइट ड्रीम.
सोए रहते पता ही नहीं चलता ना प्रभु की हमने क्या देखा. अगर हम ड्रीम देखते तो हमें याद रहता है कि हमने वो ड्रीम देखा है, और इस टाइम जैसे कुछ याद ही नहीं रहता.
हाँ, तो मतलब लाइक पूरा कट ऑफ, पूरा इन इग्नोरेंस. हाँ, डीप स्लीप, पूरा इग्नोरेंस है, फुल इग्नोरेंस है, कंप्लीटली इग्नोरेंट ऑफ द सेल्फ. मतलब the good thing is वी आर नॉट मैनेजिंग द लिंक एंड दिस वन एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स नो. परमात्मा है, वो संभाल के रखते हैं. माइंड है, बॉडी है, सब ठीक ठाक है. नो, उठने के बाद इसको मिल जाएगा. है ना. हम संभाल के रखना तो लाइक नो, सो गया तो लाइक गाड़ी किधर ठोक गया, नो आदमी किधर चला गया और आईसीयू में पड़ा रहता है. ऐसा नहीं होता है हमको, है ना. तो भगवान संभाल के रखते हैं. हम जगह उस टाइम पे भी भगवान संभाल के रखते हैं और सोने के टाइम पे भी भगवान ही संभालते हैं, है ना. ठीक है. हरे कृष्ण. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. शिल प्रभुपाद की जय. हरे कृष्ण.